Hey, what's up, guys? This is Fuller with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. So in this video, man, I want to talk about the fight card with the Canelo Rocky Fielding fight. You know, this is the reason why I won't pay that $9.99 for DAZN. Like my $9.99 can go towards buying new books. My $9.99 can go towards working on projects back home in Africa. To be honest with you, $9.99 sometimes, man, can go a long way back home. I mean, it can go towards something, even if the something is small. The whole fact of the matter is, man, I can't pay for those quality of fights. Like, that's just the reality, man. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's either you can be content with like low quality cards, or you can just basically boycott those cards and demand more from those cards, because you have to realize too that it's not only money you're spending time too. Like, I mean, if your time is very valuable, if you're just like content with like just these basic cards, then I mean, I can't even call them basic, man. They're way low key than basic. The reality is that what we saw today, or tonight I should say, was reminiscent of basically giving that a fat kid some more candy. They already have the candy. They're already filled with candy, but you're just gonna give them more candy, and they will be just satisfied with it. But for me, no. I'm like that guy that is going hunting for a meal. They're looking for the biggest. They're looking for something to eat, but in finding something to eat, they may have to overcome a predatory animal, because that could very well be the food that they eat. Me as a boxing fan right now, man, and me one who also practices boxing, I feel like I have to overcome these promoters who are the predators and these body governing organizations who are preventing the best fights from being made, because it's not in their interest of their fighter to fight against a guy who potentially could beat their fighter, can beat their cash cow. Well, anyway, man, let me go on to the card and just give my thoughts. Now, there was some undercards, nobody really, I didn't really see them, but the undercard which I started with was the Katie Taylor versus Evan Wallstrom. Now, I mean, that fight, it started a little bit slow, but then Katie Taylor started letting her hands go more as we got on to the fight. And, she got the majority decision, Now, with Ryan Garcia, like, based off of what I saw tonight, nothing's really changed with him. He still is doing the same thing. And, his new trainers have not really made that much of a difference with him. Um, another thing too is he could have easily gotten the guy out of there that he was fighting. I mean, the guy he fought, Braulio Rodriguez, man. I mean, this guy, this guy. I mean, when I look at his record, I mean, I mean, he's basically fought guys who, he's fought no names, bro. I mean, he fought a guy who was 5-35. He fought another guy who was 4-39. So it's like this guy is fighting like these no-name guys, and you mean to tell me you can't get him out of there? Like the way he was fighting Ryan Garcia was like very sloppy, trying to be flashy, trying to resemble like fighters in the past with the shuffle and the flashy punches and the low guard, but he failed miserably. I mean, to be honest, he was a clown. I mean, he came out of the into the ring wearing this dumb mask. It was really stupid. And Ryan Garcia again was loading up and not really throwing. But he did get him out of there. But I mean, when he got him out of there, it didn't really look like he hurt him. It really didn't look like much damage was done. But my point is this: I mean, he could have really easily beat him. He could have beat that guy, man, in a more convincing, fashion, and he could have beaten him sooner. Now, the next fight was Saddam Ali and Mauricio Herrera. Like, the thing is with Saddam Ali, I really think that fight with Jaime Munguia took a lot out of Saddam Ali, and it changed the way he fights, Saddam Ali, he was fighting on his back foot most of the time. He was mostly on his bicycle, I would definitely say that Jaime Munguia took a lot out of him, because Mauricio Herrera, like he's like 20. He's 38 years old, and Mauricio Herrera was still giving him a touch up, Now, with that being said, Mauricio Herrera, he could have easily gotten him out of there, because Mauricio Herrera got knocked out 8 times already, man. That's the whole thing. And then again, he fought a guy who, who is, 58-28. Fighting guys who are 32-28. So, again, it was another lackluster fight, man. It was very lackluster. And then Tevin Farmer, Francisco Fonseca, I would say that was the most entertaining fight out of the bunch. Like, that fight was very entertaining. And I won't say it in a good way. I will say it in a way that, it happened to be the fight where both fighters were going after it, basically. Now, that fight, Fonseca was actually hurting Tevin Farmer and was actually touching him. He really was kind of like giving him some stuff. And the thing is about Tevin Farmer, man, is he looks more elusive than what he really is. I mean, he was still getting touched up and stuff like that. So I really don't give him that much credit for being very defensive and elusive. But at the end, Tevin Farmer, he got the decision, but those scorecards were too wide, man. They had the scorecards very, very wide. The scorecard was like 117 to 111. Come on now, man. You cannot say that. You cannot say that fight was that far, you know. So I don't give Tevin Farmer that credit, man. Now, for the main event, Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, man, like, to be honest with you, to be completely honest, not even lying to you guys, I started reading during that fight, man. I did not want to see that fight. There was nothing to see that really made me say, oh my God, oh, what a fight. I just straight out, tuned it out. Because of the simple fact that Rocky Fielding had no business being in the ring with Canelo. I mean, that guy didn't use his height. I mean, with that kind of height, you would think a jab. He honestly, with his kind of height that he had, he can win the fight with a jab, basically. All he needed was a jab to win against Canelo. But again, this was like very, very horrible watching this fight. Even the parts that I glanced at while I was reading, I still say, godly, man. Really. But Canelo fans will go for this. Canelo fans will accept him fighting this kind of opposition. And he's going to fight Triple G in May. We know that. That's coming. And he'll probably fight him at a catchweight. That's probably going to be the name of the game. But this fight, it was complete opposites in class. That's what it really basically came down to, man. It was just like, all this fight was just a reminiscent of Canelo fighting a Liam Smith, basically. And my thing is this, everybody, I understand the tune-up fight is needed and necessary, but why does the tune-up have to be against like a guy who basically is not, who basically got really hurt in his country against I think it was Callum Smith. Like, why take a tune-up fight with a guy who got knocked out in the first round and who you dropped like 3 times in the fight? Like, really, man. Like, I'm not paying for DAZN, man. I can't support this app. After what I watched, I can't support it, bro. And I'm a big time fan of Demetrius Andrade, but I'm sorry, bro, I can't really mess with this app, man, because they're putting these kind of things out. This is not a good look. This is really not a good look. These fights, if you want DAZN, if DAZN wants to take over the American market, you can't do it with this kind of card. You're gonna have to attract fighters who want to fight there. They're not gonna want to fight there with this kind of card. This was a very, very horrible card. I'm sorry to say it, but it was very, very bad. And honestly, I'm very surprised I did not tune it out, because I mean, I can't. This card was very, very horrible. But I really don't care what Canelo does next. I really don't care at this point. It doesn't matter. You know, this card was very, very trash. Very trashy card. And I'm just gonna, you know, look forward to the better fights that are coming, you know. And I'm sorry to say it, but most of the fights are on the PBC, you know. But let me know your thoughts on this card. Let me know if you thought it was entertaining. Let me know if you thought it was a good night in boxing. And let me know if you think that, will you yourself accept cards of this caliber and be content with them? That's all I got for now, guys. Enjoy on it.